Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. How's everybody's day going? How's everybody's week starting off? Hopefully, you're all having a great day. Hopefully, you're having a good start to the week. But what is going on, folks? Shout out to the folks in the chat. Make sure you all hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. Share this channel out with everybody you know. I would greatly appreciate it. We are on the road to 1,700, so love to get there sooner rather than later. But what is going on, everyone? Let's see who we got in the chat. We got quite a few people, so it looks like the chat's on fire. So we got John the Beagle Dad. We got Desiree. We got A.D. McMahon. What is up? Thank you so much, A.D. McMahon. I saw what you did. Thank you. We got Petruzzi. Nosebleed, what's up, man? Love seeing you in the chat. What's going on, sir? We got Gusto in the building. I know you're getting ready for your trip. That's got to be exciting. We got Ken in the building. We got Rodney in the building. We got Jonathan in the building. We got Giku in the building. What's up? We got Joe in the building. Jace Pierce in the building. Shout out to Lou. What is up? What is up? So, just trying to do these monthly recaps and every month just to kind of talk about how the Yankees did in the previous month. Shout out to Jake and Stephen B. What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for coming in. But the month of May has been really good for the New York Yankees. We were wondering at least I was wondering how the month of May was going to look for the Yankees. And, it started off with them losing the series against the Tampa Bay Rays. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays. And then right after the Rays series, there was the Padres series, right? The Padres came into town, and we were all wondering how the Yankees were going to do against the San Diego Padres, who are, doing their thing there in the NL West, right? I mean, the Padres, after all, they are, still second place in the NL West. They're trailing the Dodgers by 2 games. So, they're a legitimate team. They got good pitching. They got good bats. And we also got Cold Italian Pizza in the building. What up, Cold Italian? How you doing? Daniel Berry's in the building. Shout out to you gentlemen coming in. And my boy Ace is in the building. Shout out to my guy Ace. And once again, bro, congratulations on breaking 2K. That's a big deal. Here's to 3K, man. Your channel's gonna get to 3,000. It will. But congratulations on 2,000, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. And we got Ray in the building. Ray's in the building too. What's up? But yeah, like I was saying though, they lost 2 out of 3 against the Rays, right? And then they were going to play against the Padres, right? They had a 3-game set against the Padres. We were all wondering how this team was going to do against San Diego. And to our surprise, right, they beat the Padres 2 out of 3. I know a lot of fans were in a big panic mode, especially since the month of April did not treat them well. They had some very bad. They had played some bad baseball in the month of April in some of those games, and we were wondering how they were going to do against the Padres. They beat the Padres 2 out of 3, right? And I thought, this is a big deal, right? Especially a team like the Padres. One of them, that last game against the Padres was a walk-off, which was great to see because how often do we see a lot of these walk-off wins by the Yankees? It doesn't happen as often, although it did happen in that game against the Texas Rangers when Dominguez hit that game-winning home run. And then they beat the Padres 2 out of 3, right? Then after the Padres, they traveled to Sacramento to play against the Athletics. They beat the Athletics 2 out of 3. And they won that series. Then they traveled to Seattle and they beat Seattle 2 out of 3, right? So, on that West Coast trip, they went, 1, 2, 3. They went 4-2, right, on that West Coast trip, that first West Coast trip. So, to me, that's a successful West Coast trip. Anytime, the Yankees travel west and they come back with a winning record, I'll take that all day. Then there's the test of whether or not, the Yankees can hold up against the against the Mets, right? That was the big question. That was the biggest thing, was the Subway Series, right? I don't want to say the biggest thing, but that was such a big deal. Juan Soto obviously signing with the Mets, which I'm not going to, dwell on, right? There was a lot of question marks about Soto and the Mets, and Soto happy, this and that. I'm not going to get into all that. But that series, it was to see, well, how are the Yankees going to do against the Mets with no Juan Soto? Is Yankees plan B going to be a success against the Mets? Because the biggest thing was Soto's production. They don't have another bat like Soto. There was all these speculations about the Yankees offense and how they were going to do without Juan Soto, right? I mean, you heard it all during the offseason. What up, in fairness? You heard it all throughout the offseason, right? How the bats are going to respond, right? But what up, Dev? And the bats responded, right? The Yankees responded against the Mets. They beat them 2 out of 3. They could have swept them, right? They could have swept them, but they still beat them 2 out of 3. That Sunday night game on ESPN was the one that, obviously stood out when the Yankees bats just broke out, right? I believe it was in the 7th or 8th inning. They just went on a rampage. Cody Bellinger, who, hit a grand slam to put the nail in the coffin. So, shout out to Cody Bellinger. But, the Yankees won 2 out of 3 in that series, right? So at this point, they beat the Padres, they beat the A's, they beat the Mariners, they beat the Mets. That's 4 straight series wins. And then, Texas Rangers come into town. So you wonder how they were going to do against the Texas Rangers. Honestly, in that series, I thought they were going to win. They were going to go 2 out of 3. Right. I'm not necessarily sleeping on the Rangers. I mean, they got some, luckily they didn't have to, the Yankees didn't have to go up against Corey Seager. Corey Seager was injured for that series. And, the Rangers still, were a team that can hold their own. I thought they were going to at least win one game in that series. And then the Yankees ended up sweeping them. They ended up sweeping them. So that was, their last sweep prior to that was, I believe, back in April. I want to say it was against the Royals, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But, they ended up sweeping the Rangers, even in that 1-0 game that they won in the final game of the series. I mean, you never want to see a 1-0 game won. But, the fact of the matter is, though, games like that are going to happen, right? Games like that are going to happen. There's going to be some games where the Yankees are going to win, and it's not going to be pretty. Some of these wins are going to be ugly. I mean, and I've said this. So, that 1-0 game, yeah, they won 1-0, but what that tells us is that the pitching was able to hold it down. And the Yankees pitching, all things considered, I mean, it's been very good. And when I say all things considered, I'm talking about the pitching against the Dodgers, right? That series sucked, but at least they didn't get swept, right? So after the Rangers series, they swept the Rangers. They traveled. They had a 9-game set. They went 6-3. To me, that's a success. They went 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. They ended up sweeping the Angels, right? And, the final game of the series against the Angels, they won 1-0. That wasn't, again, not a pretty win. Same thing with that Tuesday game where Devin Williams almost blew it, that Tuesday night game. They won 3-2, right? Devin Williams came into that game in the 9th inning to try and close it out. He almost blew the save. I mean, they could have lost that game. They still won. Not pretty, but they still won. And they ended up sweeping the Angels. And, of course, on the final games in May, they lost 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, right? I mean, the Dodgers series was interesting. I mean, obviously, what's up, TC? How's it going? The Dodgers series, right? I don't know about you guys. I know we kind of talked about it a few days ago. I thought, really it could have gone 2 out of 3. I thought, the Dodgers could win 2 out of 3. The Yankees could win 2 out of 3. I thought it could have gone either way. However, I thought on Friday night, I thought the Yankees were going to win that game. They should have won that game, right? Max Fried didn't exactly have the best of outings, right? That was his worst outing so far this season, but he's been He's been lights out this season, clearly, right? I mean, his ERA is, still below 2. So you can't go say anything bad about his ERA. Um, you know, the Saturday game came, you thought, okay, maybe Will Warren against the Dodgers. You thought maybe he could do well, but again, this is a young pitcher, a rookie pitcher that still needs a lot of experience, even though Will Warren has looked good in his previous starts, but he was going up against a bunch of experienced bats, against a bunch of, veteran bats, right? So, they took a full advantage of it, and, that's all she wrote. And we saw what happened in that Saturday game. We're not gonna talk about it, right? It was a debacle. It was a disaster. It was disgraceful. I mean, you said whatever negative word you want to use, that's what it was in that Saturday game. And then the game yesterday, right, last night, that was the game I was concerned about. The fact of the matter is, we thought, I know, at least I thought, the Yankees going up against, Yamamoto, right? Yamamoto, he's had a pretty good season so far, right? We thought, okay, maybe he was going to have his way with the Yankees bats, but nope, did not happen, right? We went after him right away. His pitch count got high. He got taken out early, and, the Yankees were able to take full advantage, right? So the Yankees beat up their ace, right? The Yankees took advantage of their ace last night. The Dodgers took advantage of Max Fried on Friday night, right? Fried giving up 6 runs in that game. It was a game that I feel like the Yankees should have won, but you never doubt the Dodgers bats. They're not done until the game is over, right? They're going to continue battling back. Last night was also proof of that when they got a couple of homers late in the game against Loaisaga. So you thought, oh no, this team could be coming back, but no, the pitching held it down. And shout out to Ryan Yarbrough, right? Ryan Yarbrough he's been on fire, right? He's been on fire this season. He went 2-0 in the month of May with a 2.25 ERA, right? Had 19 strikeouts in 4 appearances in the month of May. So, Yarbrough had himself a great month of May, and he shut down that Dodgers rotation. Or not rotation, their lineup last night. Yarbrough was impressive last night. He went toe-to-toe with Yamamoto, and he beat Yamamoto, right? I think that's a big deal, But again, baseball is a funny game. Sometimes you expect teams to win games that they should win, and then they should lose games that they shouldn't have won. But once again, baseball is a funny sport. You never know what's going to happen. And I know when the Yankees lost 2 out of 3, I'm pretty sure a lot of fans thought they were going to get swept yesterday, right? Last night, which I totally understand. But the fact of the matter is, people are treating like this 3-game set that they had with the Dodgers were playoff games, and it was gonna make or break the season for the Yankees. That it was just going to determine the rest of the season for the Yankees. I'm sorry, but no. The Yankees so far, they're still in first place in the AL East, right? They have a 36-22 record. They've played 58 games. All right. So that's not even half the season. So, people need to chill out with the whole, this whole thing of like, oh, well, this is going to determine the rest of the season for the Yankees. And when they lost 2 out of 3, folks were up in arms, and they were just thinking, okay, this is it. Like, the Yankees, it's just like, okay, let's chill out. Once again, it's only been 58 games. Half the season hasn't even been played yet. There's still so much baseball to be played, and you got to give some credit here, because I do see some people mentioning his name, DJ LeMahieu. He was happy. I mean, he was on fire last night. That dude was on fire last night. All right. I mean, I want to see more of that from DJ. I don't expect him to go 4 for 5 in every single game. But if he can go 2 for 4, if he could go 3 for 4, if he could go 1 for 2, I'll take those games from DJ LeMahieu all freaking day. But he went 4 for 5 against the Dodgers last night. I mean, did anybody expect that? I didn't. You know what I mean? What's up, Ali? Good to see you, man. He says I agree with you. The Yankees are going to be fine. I think they will be. They will be, but the Yankees are going to be fine. I think they're going to do fine. But Ronnie, I know you said it, but I need more. I want to see more games like that. I don't expect them to go 4 out of 5 every single game, but I want them to go 2 for 3, 1 for 2, right? 1 for 3, even if it's like 1 for 3, I'll take those from DJ, right? I'd rather see him get 1 or 2 hits every game as opposed to not getting no hits. I hope this is the comeback for DJ. I do. I really do. But going 4 for 5 against the Dodgers yesterday, hey, I'll take it. And another thing about last night's game that I want to mention, the Yankees pitching was able to shut it down with the top 3 bats in the batting order against the Dodgers. I believe the Dodgers 1, 2, 3 bats went 0 for 15. They didn't get a hit, nothing. So once again, baseball is a funny game. I mean, those guys just couldn't get nothing going, and that's where you I know that's where you got to give Ryan Yarbrough credit, because he held it down for the Yankees last night. And fact of the matter is they didn't get swept. Yeah, Ali, for sure. It reminded me of 2019 DJ, and I hope that is the DJ that we do see, right? Hopefully the guy could stay healthy. Unfortunately, that's been his biggest issue. So I just hope the guy can stay healthy and can hit like he did in 2019, or at least try to get close to it, right? I mean, if DJ could go, if he could hit 250, 260, I'll take that batting average from DJ. I will. Yeah. I mean, Ohtani 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts versus Yarb. I mean, that says something, man. Yarbrough he went out there to make a point. He went out there to make a point, and he did. So kudos to Yarbrough. But the month of May for the New York Yankees, they went 17-9, which is great, right? 8 games over 500. That was much better than their record in April, in which they went 15-13. So April was not kind to them, but May was very kind to them. And now, the month of June, they started the month off with a 1-0 record. Yesterday, obviously being June 1st, they beat the Dodgers. So a nice little start to the month of June. And as we look ahead to the month of June, their schedule right now, just to go over it, and this is going to be, an interesting schedule. It's not an easy schedule by no stretch. They have a 3-game set starting tomorrow against the Guardians, a 3-game set against the Boston Red Sox, which all 6 of those games will be at the stadium. Then they have a day off. Then they travel to Kansas City on a 3-game set. Then they travel to Boston to play the Red Sox in a 3-game set at Fenway. After that, they have a 4-game set against the Angels at the stadium, and then a 3-game set against the Baltimore Orioles that weekend, so the 21st and 22nd. Then they travel to Cincinnati on a 3-game set to play against the Reds. Then they have a day off on that Thursday before coming back to the stadium. And then they have a 3-game set against the Athletics at the stadium. Then they travel to Toronto on the 30th of June. And then they have a 4-game set there. So from the 30th to the 3rd of July 3rd, they have a 4-game set against Toronto. So let's see what the month of June brings. So hopefully they have a better record. If they end up still with a 17-9 record or a 16-10 record, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll take it as long as it's a winning record and it's a good winning record. I don't want it to be 15-13 like they had in April. I'd rather have it 17-9, or if they went 18-8, or 19-7. Sign me up all day. Sign me up all day. I'm not gonna sleep on any of those games. I'm not gonna sleep on any of those teams. They're gonna play against the Guardians starting tomorrow. Guardians are second place right now in the NL Central. They're trailing the Tigers by 6 games. I know I see your comment there, TC. You're saying Tigers are really not this good. They will come back to earth soon. I don't know, man. I mean, the Tigers are pretty legit. I think they're pretty legit. They might hit a slump at some point, but I think they're pretty legit. Cold Italian. I'm glad they're done with the West Coast. They don't have to deal with West Coast trips anymore. So the furthest that they're going to travel is going to be Kansas City and Texas. But Yankees again. They had a good May. They had their offense in May was they were on top of it, right? They scored 135 runs. They had 217 hits, 60 doubles, 6 triples, 41 home runs, 129 RBIs. A good offensive numbers for May, although their batting average did dip a little bit in the month of May, right? In April, their batting average overall was at 260. In the month of May, they're at they hit 248. Hopefully they can bring that batting average up. But look, overall, when you look at their numbers, their offensive numbers are still really good. They're third in Major League Baseball with a 259 average. They're behind the Cubs and Dodgers. They're second in home runs with 95, third in RBIs with 306, first in walks with 240. Can you believe that? And they're tied for first with the Dodgers with a 345 on-base percentage. Slugging, they're second with 468, and OPS, they're second with 813. So, they are behind the Dodgers and slugging and OPS, but overall, their offensive numbers are good. A little bit of a dip in their batting average, but I don't think that's anything to necessarily panic about. And you got to give the guy that really stood out to me as far as offense goes. I mean, obviously Aaron Judge is the obvious name, but we gotta talk about Cody Bellinger, right? Bellinger has a batting average of 253 right now, but his batting average has gone up exponentially, right? It's gone up a lot. Beginning of May, his batting average was below 200. I know he was having some back issues. Those back injuries were bugging him. And then, he also had food poisoning. So the guy just couldn't catch a break to save his life. But he turned it around though. He turned it around. Bellinger has looked a lot better. So, shout out to Cody Bellinger, and hopefully he can keep up that production. And after all, he does have a player option. So if he decides to opt out, maybe he'll want to try and demand a better contract or demand better pay. So he is getting paid $25 million. Is he going to get something better? I mean, who knows? But that's what we got right now. Ali Goldschmidt looks good at the plate. He has a fantastic swing. I mean, Goldschmidt, that was a signing that so many fans were crapping on. And why are they signing this 37-year-old? And what is it with the Yankees is signing these old players? And look at what he's doing. So hopefully the haters are watching. And hopefully they're eating their words. And Brooklyn is in the house. Susan, what's going on? How are you, Susan? How was your weekend? Good to see you, Susan. We got Brooklyn in the house. What's up there, Susan? So, yeah, as far as Yankees offense goes, Yankees offense still good. Yankees pitching though, right now overall they're pitching. They're eighth in the ERA department. Um, you know, looking at the ERAs for the Yankees in the month of May, Yarbrough had a 2.25 ERA. Will Warren had a 4.82 ERA. His ERA unfortunately got shot up because of that game against the Dodgers. Although prior to that game, he's had some pretty good outings. He's looked fantastic. What up, Mr. Coconuts? Clark Schmidt, he had a 3.14 ERA. So he looked good after a couple of rough starts there. He's looked really good. Max Fried, 2.65, and then Carlos Rodon, folks. Carlos Rodon had the lowest ERA out of anybody. He had a 1.47 ERA. Carlos Rodon. He's also leading the team in strikeouts. So think about that. Rodon, there's so many doubts about him, and I know he gets a lot of hate sometimes because because he can be quite emotional, which, hey, I totally get it. But he's looked really good. He's looked really, really good. So I like what Rodon is doing. Rodon is also leading the team in strikeouts. I don't know if anybody knew that, right? So Yankees pitching in as far as starting pitching, their ERA really good. Their ERA was at 2.87 in the month of May with the pitching. In the month of April, they had a 3.76 in April. So ERA has dropped. So the pitching was a lot better in the month of May as opposed to April. But the offensive numbers, the batting average dipped a little bit, but I'm not I'm not too concerned. So Mr. Coconuts is saying, got to be careful. The rotation was great this time last year, especially with Rodon, and after June, and when they hit 100 innings was bad. Well, let's just hope it's not a repeat, right? That now we're entering the month of June. Let's see what they can do in June. Hopefully, we see Luis Hill coming back, right, in this month. We'll see how he fits into the rotation, or we know he's going to get back into the rotation, but who's going to be taken out? That's the big question, right? Is it going to be Will Warren? Is it going to be Yarbrough? It's going to be one of those two guys. I don't see Clark Schmidt being taken out of this rotation. I think he will remain again. No, Lou, they don't face the Dodgers again unless they see each other in the World Series. That's when they'll play them again, as far as this year goes. But let's just hope that this team can stay healthy, which, speaking of health, as far as injured players go, so Weaver was apparently having some issues with his hamstring. So I know when the Yankees got back to New York, they were going to do some testing. Sorry about that. I had a sneeze. But they were going to do some testing to see if he's going to have to miss some games. And Jason Dominguez was also taken out of the game with a left thumb contusion when he stole that base. So let's hope that those guys don't have to miss any time, or if they are going to miss time, it's not going to be for a while. So Custodio, and I was just about to get to Cruz, right? So the Yankees outrighted Carlos Carrasco yesterday. So you're not going to see Carlos Carrasco. He's still on the roster, but with him being outrighted, I mean, it's safe to assume. I would assume that Fernando Cruz is going to be brought back, which I can't wait to see him back. Cruz is legit, is a legitimate pitcher out of that bullpen. They've been missing him. So hopefully he can bring some. It'll be a fresh arm coming back. Jake Cousins is going to make his first rehab start tomorrow. So hopefully sooner rather than later we start seeing guys coming back. Giancarlo is going to start playing in some rehab games. Jazz, I think, should be back too. I believe he should be back tomorrow. Which, if he is back, what move are the Yankees going to make? My guess, I said it yesterday. I do think that it will be. I do think that it'll be Vivas that gets sent back down, honestly. And then once Giancarlo gets back, I think that's when we could probably say goodbye to Carlos or Pablo Reyes. So, but one step at a time, but this is what I'm going to do, folks. This is what I'm going to do, because remember when I said that when you all asked me about open panels, I told you that it would be a surprise, and I'm not going to announce when. So we are 30 minutes into the live stream. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to put the link out. So anybody who wants to jump on, feel free to jump on and let's talk. All right. Because I do have some questions, and I'll get your thoughts on the month of May. Right. And then get your thoughts on the games coming up in June. And we'll kind of we'll see where the conversation goes. But the link is right there for anybody who wants to jump on. Let's rock out for a little bit longer, and we'll talk. So we'll just wait for a few people coming in, and we'll go from there. But I do appreciate you all tuning in as always. So make sure you all hit that like, hit that subscribe, and keep sharing this out. Let's continue growing this channel. And looks like I already got my first suspect waiting in the back, which it's never a question. He's on it right away every single time. And I got Jonathan waiting in the back. You want to come on, dude? You ready to go? All right. Let's bring on Jonathan. Hold on, dude. Let me just fix this here.
Hi.
What's up, Jonathan? Yeah, I hope we win it all there, Ali. But what's going on, man? How you been?
Good. Been a while since I've been on that panel with you. I think last time I was on vacation.
Yeah, I think you were.
I was in Philadelphia last time I went with you.
You were in Philadelphia? Oh, okay. I thought you were like West Coast somewhere.
I also did the first time I was in Port Angeles. So
okay. That's what I thought. Anyway. All right. But let me get your thoughts, man. For the month of May for the Yankees, what stood out to you? What stood out to you about the Yankees in the month of May? What were you not happy about? 17-9 record. Pitching was really good. The offense was still good. Drop. Yeah. I mean, there was a little bit of a drop, but it's not a big deal. I mean, their offense is still one of the top in Major League Baseball. But go ahead.
For the most part, I was pretty happy with the month of May. The one downside I have is the bullpen. They blew at least 3 games in the month of May that they could have won. Mm-hmm. I mean, the A's. For the A's, the game against the Rockies, they could have won if the offense had a little bit. I don't know what was wrong with the offense in the first game. They only scored 2 runs. Mm-hmm. But, I for the most part, I give May a passing grade. I like May.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there was a few games that they should have won, but I mean,
they probably should have won 2 or 3 more games.
Yeah, if they went 2 more games, they could have gone 20-6, but I'll take 17-9. I mean, that's better than their record in April, right?
Yeah. The bullpen is, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Weaver. I think he will avoid the IL, but until we have more details, I'm not sure.
Well, I was trying to see if they were going to put out something, if there was going to be like a tweet from Brian Hogue or one of the other beat writers that
nothing. I haven't found anything today about any of the injuries.
Yeah. Well, if not today, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe. I think if they announce anything, it would be on tomorrow's pregame.
For sure. Yeah, and I see somebody else waiting in the back. I'll let him up here momentarily. But yeah, the bullpen, I know it's been a little shaky, but you got to remember the bullpen is still incomplete. So, with Fernando Cruz is coming back, you got Jake Cousins starting his rehab game starting tomorrow. So
Yeah.
they're slowly but surely, hopefully getting some guys back. So I mean, the
with
bullpen will be a lot.
Cruz, Cruz and Cousins, when both of them come back, I think this bullpen will be much better than it is, and they will give Williams a little bit of extra rest. And I want Williams to do well, but I don't want him to be overused, to be tired in September and October. We need him when the game counts.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's important to utilize all the guys that you have in your bullpen and get the best production. And as far as Williams goes, I think he's his best in a non-closer role. As long as he's in a non-closer role, I think he's going to do fine. And one more question real quick before I bring up Ken. I know he's waiting in the back. You know, at some point, Luis Hill is going to come back. They're going to plug him into the rotation, right? Who gets taken out of the rotation, do you think? And folks in the chat, let me know what you all think.
Out of rotation, I obviously think Carrasco will be off the team by then.
Yeah, but they're going to have to. But they're going to have to take somebody out of the rotation. I don't think they're going to go 6-man.
No. I'm guessing Will Warren might be taken out of the rotation by then, or even Ryan Yarbrough, because he can be in a bullpen. One of those two. I'm guessing Warren or Yarbrough.
If you had to pick one, who would you pick?
Right now, Warren.
Right now, Warren. Okay, cool. On that note, I see Ken waiting in the back. You ready to come on, man? He gave me a thumbs up. Sweet. And we got Ken from The Ugly Truth. I know he's going to be going live here pretty soon. So what's going on, man?
A little bit of baseball, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of play-by-play, a little bit of live streaming.
Sure. But Ken, let me get your thoughts about the month of May for the Yankees. They went 17-9. What stood out to you? Like, what excited you about the month of May, and what were you not so happy about in the month of May?
Well, I mean, the month of May started out rough. Us being thumped by Tampa Bay, horrible team, but I mean, we clicked off 7 straight series wins. How can you complain against that? And it's not like we were playing scrub teams. They were most of them were ranked first or second in the division when we faced them. In my mind's eye, when I looked at May, I thought it was going to be a make or break month for us. And we came out smelling like roses on top of the hill.
Yeah, I thought the month of May, I mean, after that Tampa Bay series loss, I was a little nervous about that series against the Padres. And when they beat the Padres 2 out of 3, I thought, okay, you know what? This should give them like the boost that they need. And sure enough, they had it. I mean, I know that it didn't exactly end well with the Dodgers. That was a kind of a kick below the belt, if you know what I mean. So that sucked. But, you know, as far as, let me ask you this question. I know I'm sure you were probably getting a headache hearing this, but were you, and I'll ask the same question to Jonathan, were you getting a headache when all the fans were acting like it was the end of the world when they lost to the Dodgers and acting like this was going to like make or break their season? Because a lot of fans out there were acting like, oh, this team just doesn't have it. This team stinks. You know how it goes when the Yankees lose.
It was not unexpected whatsoever.
Right.
I knew it was coming. It was just brace for shock. Let's see what dimension X we're going to go to on this one. I mean, long and short, game 1 was in our hand. We screwed the pooch on that one.
Mm-hmm.
We got kicked in the head in game 2. It happens. Dodgers got beat, 16-0 by the Cubs 2 weeks ago. They got swept by the Angels 3 in their own house. So, you know, teams go up and down. We're not going to win 162 games. That's just a fact of life.
Sorry, I was a little shocked by that comment. So,
well, you know how it is.
Yeah.
And
the one guy who has impressed me is Yarbrough. He's done better than I.
Yeah. So do you? Let me ask you this, Ken. As far as you know that at some point Luis Hill is coming back. I know Nosebleed's saying that he should go to the pen like they did with Sevy, but I don't know. I don't personally see that happening, but I see where you're coming from. But if Luis Hill comes back into the rotation, who gets taken out?
I put Clark Schmidt in the pen.
You put Clark Schmidt in the pen.
Clark Schmidt has the disease that he cannot strike people out. He will get them down 0-2 and then run the count 3-2. He just does not have that strikeout pitch. He's decent at getting people out, but third time through the rotation or third time through the order, he's still not getting it done.
I mean,
He could be a strong, long guy out of the pen.
Yeah, but there's been a few games though where he's gone over 5. I mean, whereas last year he couldn't save that to save his life. I mean, ERA right now at 3.14, or was in 3.14 in May.
He is the fourth. This is his 4th season up.
Mm-hmm.
If he hadn't figured it out by now, it's not going to happen. And the guy has a spectacular 2-seam fastball that has a lot of movement on it. He refuses to throw it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a his thing or a Matt Blake thing, but I mean, I'm not sure why he's not pitching. Why he's not throwing it.
That pitch alone could have saved his bacon in Colorado when none of his breaking stuff was moving, like he knew it wasn't going to.
Yeah,
he made what?
Oh, go ahead, finish.
He made 4 2/3 in Colorado before he got yanked, and he was at 100 pitches.
Well, that's doing work against him. What were you going to say, John?
On this question by TC, what move do you see being made by the trade deadline?
Well, let me just say this. We know the Yankees need help. There's no doubt about it. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying they're a World Series team. They'll make the postseason. Top flight starter, another high leverage bullpen arm, and a better third baseman than Peraza. The starter for me, I don't know. That's a question mark for me. I think it's all contingent on how Luis Hill does. I know Rodon is doing good. Max Fried is doing good.
Hold
on, Jonathan. Hold on. Let me finish. So Fried is doing good. Rodon is doing good. I mean, Yarbrough, we don't know if he's going to be in the rotation. We don't know if Warren's going to be in the rotation. You're predicting Schmidt possibly there, Ken. So I don't know if they'll get a top flight starter or bullpen arm. No doubt they're going to get. I think they'll get a couple of bullpen arms. As far as another bat, to me, that's another question mark because they're getting Jazz back. They're getting Giancarlo back. So I could see Cashman saying something along the lines of, we're not going to get another bat because we got these guys. But I do think that they should get another bat, in my opinion. I think it'll be a bat and maybe like 1 or 2 bullpen arms, honestly, at the deadline. But what were you going to say, Jonathan?
I think the problem with getting a starting pitcher, any starting pitcher they're going to get is going to cost a truckload. They're going to have to sell. They're going to be selling very high. Teams are going to be selling very high, especially a team like the Rockies. If anybody wants to trade with the Rockies, you're going to have to give up some top quality prospects for any of their players.
It depends on who they're going after, though. It depends on who.
For example, do you see McMahon on the trading block?
It's I can't see it. I think McMahon likes being a Rocky, and the Rockies like him. So
I'm going to tell you what. If you look historically, the Rockies don't trade at the deadline, no matter how bad they are.
No,
they just don't do it.
Right.
So if you're expecting them to be selling the farm, not a chance. They have got some very talented young players. What they don't have is a rotation and a bullpen.
There's only one guy in that bullpen that I wouldn't mind getting, and that's Jake Bird.
Bird?
Yeah, he's good. I wouldn't mind the Yankees going after him at the deadline if they're able to. I mean, who knows what the game plan is going to be? Who knows what what the Yankees game plan is going to be? Nobody really knows what Cashman is going to do. But what are your thoughts, though, Ken? I mean, your thoughts on? I mean, I know it's still early, right, as far as deadline goes. But what do you think the Yankees do at the deadline?
Honestly, I don't see a starting pitcher. We don't have the bullets to spend on it. There are too many competitors that have way deeper farm systems. And plain simple fact of life is Spencer Jones isn't going anywhere. Lombard Jr. isn't going anywhere. Hess isn't going anywhere. The guys that we're bringing up for starting pitchers aren't going anywhere.
Right.
That means that we're going to end up trading a live asset. The way that you're going to get a frontline pitcher like that is Ben Rice. Are we going to move Ben Rice to get a starter? I don't think so.
Right.
So I think we're out in the starter market. Bullpen, I don't know. We tend to find players that nobody seems to think can pitch, and Blake does wonders with them and makes them very serviceable pitchers. We could make a fringe move like that. What I think they'll do is concentrate at third base, depending on the market. I mean, Yoan Moncada is definitely going to be traded. We could make a move for him. There is a distinct possibility that Eugenio Suarez is going to get moved. And Suarez and the Diamondbacks have issues with regard to their bullpen, where we have a plethora of major league ready pieces that could be shifted over there. From Ian Hamilton. I think that is a suitable trading partner. Right. The other one that people are not enamored with is Miguel Andujar. Andujar is not a fantastic glove guy, but he's hitting over 300. He's got some pop. He's got some speed. And if we're looking for a right-handed bat, he may be one that's not going to cost us the farm. If we're expecting people like Brendan Donovan to come break loose, don't hold your breath. No. And if the Yankees made a trade for Arenado, they need to have their head examined twice.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jonathan. I'm going to say what you need to say, and I know I got Sunil waiting in the back. I'll bring him up here momentarily.
I do see the Yankees more likely getting a third baseman. One reason is because I think Efros will come back eventually to help the bullpen.
If he ever does come back.
What?
If he ever does come back, the guy is barely.
I know he's been hurt for a year and a half, but I have a feeling he's going to come back in the second half of the season and help the bullpen.
Brad, we just saw Moncada a few days ago. He's on the 60-day IL.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When did they announce that, Brad? All right. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly, Susan. That's my issue. That's the issue with Efros. The guy can't stay healthy to save his life. It seems like every time he takes a step, he falls back two steps backwards.
What do you think about that guy, Hendrick? What do you want to do with him? Brent Hendrick?
Put him in the minors and leave him there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
actually down there in Double-A Somerset, Brubaker threw 4 innings, looked pretty good, and he is a quality pitcher. He just has had the worst luck on the planet with regard to being a Yankee.
I think he could possibly come back.
He's on the verge. He's down there in the minors, so yeah.
You could see him back by the end of the month.
We'll see. But I got a couple of folks waiting. I'm going to bring them up as well. I got.
Okay.
You got to go.
I'm going to drop off because I got to get ready for my show. It's in 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Get ready for your show there, and we'll see you there, man.
Appreciate you having me up, brother.
Yes, sir. Have a good show.
Yep.
All right. See you. All right. I got Sunil and Sean Browning waiting in the back, so I'll bring you gentlemen up. You both ready to go?
Natalie Elizabeth.
Snell's good to go. Sean, you good to go? Thumbs up. I don't know if Sean could hear me.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Sunil? Hold on, let me bring Sean up real quick.
Yeah.
Sean, can you hear me? Oh, he had to exit out. Okay, I'll bring him up if he comes back. But what's up, man?
All right.
So I'll ask you some of the same questions here. So the Yankees went 17-9. They had a very good May. The pitching was top notch, I would say. They had fantastic pitching. Offense kind of dipped a little bit, but not bad. I mean, they're still one of the top teams when it comes to offensive numbers. But let me get your thoughts on the month of May. Like, what stood out to you? What did you like the most?
So when we talk about the offense dipping in the month of May,
Batting average.
I think, batting average. Yeah. I mean, batting average, any stat, any level of production, batting average, hits runners in scoring position, everything. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had some terrible teams on this West Coast trip between the Angels and the Rockies. The Rockies are just the next level of the bad news bears. Let's just put it that way. But, digressions aside, you have to be able to produce against the good teams like the Dodgers.
Sure.
That middle game was a complete aberration on all levels when you have, the opposing team being able to bat around twice in 2 innings. Innings 1 and 2, they basically already had 2 plate appearances for all the 9 guys all the way through. So apart from what the Yankees are able to do, you have to be able to have pitching that can stop stuff like that, especially against your nemesis who you faced in the World Series last year. But as a team, against a pitcher like Landon Knack, who's not really a well-known name to my awareness. Jonathan, you might know differently, so feel free to chime in if that's the case.
Knack?
But against pitchers like, go ahead.
You said the guy named Knack?
Landon Knack, the guy who pitched on the Fox Baseball Night in America Saturday game.
I'm not familiar with the Dodgers.
Exactly my point. I mean, the Yankees as a team against these no-name pitchers somehow just have a way of falling off. To
kind of, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's just when your starting pitcher, who was, Will Warren, a young rookie pitcher, going up against a bunch of veteran bats, and you're already down 4-0.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak. I mean, I don't know about other teams. I mean, but it's like the Yankees lose all motivation, and it's like the fire's already put out.
Yeah.
So, Well, let me bring up Sean real quick, but go ahead and continue talking. You good to go, Sean? Give me a thumbs up. All right, you good to go. Cool. But
so I mean, regardless of how bad the circumstances get, you have to at least you have a team with that offensive prowess, and you're facing a pitcher that's basically a fill-in for their rotation, considering the number of injuries they have between Snell, Kershaw, and whoever else they got, Roki Sasaki. So these are the 3 big names from their starting rotation that are down. You have fill-ins that you can't do squat against. Now, regardless of how good this month of May has gone, I mean, it's definitely been splinted. 17-9, I take that, all day, every day, in normal circumstances. But if we have to boil down against the teams that we absolutely have to be able to beat, even in the other league, we've got work to do. I'll just leave it at that.
I knew the Dodgers offense was going to be. I knew the Dodgers was going to be an easy series. I said that either the Dodgers are going to win 2 out of 3 or the Yankees are going to win 2 out of 3. But it was one of those games where Max Fried, I felt like they should have won that game on Friday, but they just lost that game because the Dodgers bats just found it, and they took full advantage.
Well, let me set a precedence based off of StatMuse. Max Fried going into that game had a 3-4 record and not a very, great ERA against the Dodgers in this past, as a Brave pitching in the National League.
They're familiar with him because he played so many games. So it's just,
exactly.
Yeah. But still, I expected the Yankees to lose against Yamamoto, but they took full advantage of him.
Yeah.
So you never know what's going to happen in baseball.
And I will say I was dead wrong about Yarbrough. Yarbrough, even though for the month of May, he's got maybe a sub-2 ERA for this entire month.
2.25.
2.25. Okay. That's still nothing to say anything bad. He's been a very admirable number 5 fill-in. You can't say anything much better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
The Yankees
go ahead,
do
Jonathan,
have
real quick.
one infielder on the 40-man roster, but he's basically which is Brad Shoemaker. But he's I don't know how much he can contribute to this team.
Yeah.
Although he's on the 40-man roster, I don't I expect him to be DFA at some point because I don't really see the Yankees using him at any time.
And what was with bringing Pablo Reyes in as your position player to pitch the ninth?
I have no idea why
That was
Pablo Reyes so much.
That was a complete brain fart of a decision. I'm sorry.
So Neil, I think Pablo Reyes is your new Hicks.
But
Pablo Reyes is basically all 3 of NFE's favorite 3 Musketeers rolled into one. He's basically the hodgepodge.
That's funny. But Sean, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
He is the hodgepodge of the 3 Musketeers and the Fantastic Four, all rolled up into one, if that's even possible.
Well, hold on, Snell. Well, Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
I could hear you. I think
yes, we could hear you.
There's like some connection issues, so you're good, dude. But let me get your thoughts on the month of May, man.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No. I mean, Yankees have been the savages. I mean, okay, we won 7 straight series going into, the debacle with the Dodgers. But I mean, we're what, 30, 35 and 21 or whatever, 20 something, or 36, whatever our record is. We're doing well. We're in first place.
36 and 22.
Okay, 36 and 22. Yeah. Our offense has been clicking. Our pitching staff's been clicking. Despite losing Cole to the whole season for Tommy John and probably half of next season. Although I think he's got the shorter end recovery time because of the surgery he had. And then Heel hasn't came back yet, but I know he's close. Yeah, and I mean, considering where we were at, our rotation figured it out. Cole and Rodon, Fried and Rodon have been like remarkable. A two-headed aces going, leading our rotation, and then you got a rookie in Warren. He got beat up against the Dodgers, against veteran bats, and a lot of them are Yankee killers. So I believe he'll bounce back, but we got to see how he does it because that's the only way you're going to really know, because you got to face adversity, right, to know how really much you've grown.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're going to have to face adversity, and this is the thing. That was the thing about the Dodgers series. I mean, it was, I'm sure it was a wake-up call, right, for the Yankees in that series.
A big one.
By no stretch was it like going to be an easy series. I knew it was going to be a tough series, especially playing them in LA. It was certainly a wake-up call, and hopefully, Boone knows what's up, and hopefully Cashman is paying attention, which I'm sure he is. He's paying attention, seeing, okay, well, what do we do? What players do we add? Or what do we look for to make this team better? But, Sean, let me ask you this though, man. I mean, did you feel like it was like the end of the world when they lost the series against the Dodgers? Did you feel like it was it was going to make or break their season at all? Because there was a lot of Yankees fans that were acting like this was the World Series, and half the season hasn't even been played yet, which is funny.
No, and I was saying that with Joe, and I said the season's not over. I said I ain't gonna quit on this team. Never quit. Never surrender.
That's right.
Said, and it frustrated me hearing a lot of other people. Oh man, the Dodgers. Look, Pedro kept saying Yankees were his daddy, but he still gave us fits.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
And I understand that recently we had, before the Dodgers we had issues facing the Dodgers. We had issues with the Astros, but we overcame that. So it's going to take time, but we're going to overcome it. We're going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the season's not over. We got 100. We got how many games left? 110, I believe. Or somewhere around there.
A lot of baseball left. That's all I'm going to say.
104 games. 104.
Yeah, 104 games. We ain't got to face them
58 played
unless
so
we
far.
face them in the World Series. Yeah, we ain't got to worry about facing the Dodgers unless we face them in the World Series again. So, but no, I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's baseball. You're gonna get whooped by some team. I mean, they got swept by the Angels, and we swept the Angels.
Yeah, exactly. You got a point, and this is what I'm saying. Baseball is a funny game. Dodgers get swept by the Angels. Yankees swept the Angels. Yankees lost a game against the Rockies. That's baseball for you. You never know what's going to go down. No, you're absolutely right.
Okay, John Sterling.
What was that?
I was like, okay, John Sterling.
I'm not trying to go John Sterling, but as far as trade deadline goes, Brian, drive safe. You could just listen in. All right, pay attention to the road. Be safe out there for anybody that's driving. So if you're listening, let me ask you this though, Sean. I mean, it's still early for the deadline, right? I'm not trying to take a deep dive or anything like that, but legitimately, what do you think the Yankees need? But what do you think the Yankees are going to do? Let me ask you that question. You that question.
Well, the biggest need the biggest need is third base. We need a solid third baseman. I know that they're talking about putting Jazz at third when he comes back. And, I mean, he did all right there. But we need a right-handed third baseman. That way, that can also help solidify the bench, which is the other issue we have. A lack of depth in the bench. But what do I see them doing? We're probably going to get some bullpen help. And we might get a bench guy in a trade deadline. Probably not who we think we are going to get. But, yeah, if we can't get a third baseman, go for a second baseman because DJ LeMahieu, he's having these back Jekyll and Hyde. He's an old guy. Age has caught up to him. Injuries have really beat up. He's not the player he used to be. But he does show the flashes of being a machine. He went 3 for 4 against the Dodgers last night. So, but then at the same time, he's either grounding out or striking out, and it's like, okay, or he's running into bad luck. But then you got Pablo Reyes and you got Oswald Peraza. Peraza, he's streaky with the bat. He's got a great glove. And I love having him. I love the kid. But he's not a long-term option for us.
So you think the Yankees – so you think they need a third baseman. Do you think they'll go after a third baseman?
Yes, I think they'll go by a third baseman or a versatile infielder.
Okay. What about pitching? Do you think they go after a starting pitcher or do you see them going after a bullpen? I mean, bullpen is no doubt. They're going to get a bullpen arm, one or two. But do you think they go after a starter?
The way Cashman operates, and I'm going off of how he is in the bat, I don't see him going after a starter unless it's somebody that is either without a huge haul or unless it's a guy with controllable years. And the way our bullpen the way our rotation has been pitching so well, it's fine, and he'll probably stay put on it because, a lot of teams are going to have that Yankee tax. They're going to want to ask for Lombard, Jones, Arias, you name it, half our farm for a guy like Alcantara, huge arm, but he, is injury prone. Or even if you got even guys like King and Cease over in San Diego, though I don't think they're going to get traded because San Diego's competing for first place. Yeah. But guys like that, the teams are going to ask for huge prospect capital for a 2-month rental.
Yeah, and
So
then for sure. And you think for sure they'll go after bullpen arms, because that's what I'm thinking. Honestly, is like they're gonna.
Cashman's bread and butter, besides getting some bargain, some diamond in the rough bench guy, is a diamond in the rough bullpen guy. I mean, look, we traded for Holmes, we traded for Weaver, we traded for a lot of these other guys that we gotten that have been remarkable. I mean, we traded for Cruz, Leiter, all those guys, and look, they're carrying our bullpen right now.
No doubt. So let me ask this same question to Jonathan. As far as the deadline goes, who do you think the Yankees? Do you think the Yankees go after a starting pitcher and a third baseman, and a bullpen arm? What do you think the Yankees should do? What do you think they will do?
I think they should
go ahead,
go
John.
after a third baseman, and I think pitching. The problem with trading for pitching, I think pitching will be in high demand, and I think it will be much easier for them to get a third baseman than a starting pitcher. I don't see them going after a starting pitcher unless they can get a real good deal or a package that includes both a starting baseman and a starting pitcher and a third baseman. But I think it's more likely for them to go after a third baseman than a starting pitcher.
Do you think they will go after a third baseman?
I think they have. I think if they have the right deal, they will go after a third baseman. But they're gonna call everybody. But if I were the Yankees, I would try to make trade. I would try to get trade done. By beginning to the middle of July, and do not wait until the last week of July. I would even start making trades by around July 4th.
Okay.
The closer you get to the end of July, the more expensive, the more team will ask for players, especially if they know you're desperate. However, if Jazz comes back and he played well, then maybe infield will be less of a problem. I think if Jazz comes back and plays well, then what I just said will be thrown out the window, and we can talk about this again in July.
No doubt. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair statement. Sunil, what do you think? What do you think the Yankees need? But what do you think they'll do? On this.
I definitely agree with the third baseman or second baseman need, depending on which market is more feasible. That's what's been thrown around the room here between Sean and John. But I'm going to say if we're got to build a team for October as our end goal, we're definitely going to need one more starting pitcher arm. Unfortunately, Cashman and Hal are going to look at it and say, well, Eel's back off the IL, so that's good as getting an extra arm for the rotation at the deadline. The unfortunate tragedy on the flip side of that is I can see Will Warren being demoted, because I think this start will have played a little bit with his confidence. Not breathing it into existence, I just see it as a possibility. This kid is definitely promising for the future. Don't get me wrong. I think he could definitely use a little bit more development down there and more reps, more innings, more coaching down in the minor leagues.
You talking about Warren?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Warren definitely needs a little bit more work down there because he's been a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde situation. Yarborough for the number 5 is going nowhere, so let's stop right there. 3 lefties and 2 righties. makes a relatively balanced rotation, regardless of how the numbers have panned out. Fried has had one bad start. Yarborough's been a solid number 5. Rodon is who he is right now, and he's just dogging it. You need better production out of your right-handed starters between Schmidt and hopefully when Heel gets back up, he gets back to what we're accustomed to seeing last year. And he was the one guy who beat the Dodgers for us in the World Series last year anyway. So having arms like that is definitely a benefit. It's just we got to see what we get back as a result of an injured product. Bullpen, yes. Bullpen we definitely are going to go after because every trade deadline, it just seems like a Groundhog Day situation with Cashman basically saying, well, we tried to go out there, but the prices were too high and we felt comfortable with what you hear a lot of that type of talk come out of him, basically. So,
well, I think the Yankee tax is real. Sean mentioned, it's totally real. So there's no doubt there. But so you're saying that the Yankees, Stephen B, I might hang out for a few more minutes, dude. So if you want to jump on, by all means, please do. I'm loving the company right now.
Put the stream, but put the link back for him.
Yeah. But I got I'll put the link on again. But so Sunil, you're saying that the Yankees are probably they're not gonna they'll possibly go after a bat, not so much a starter, and
right.
a bullpen arm. I think is a given because that's something that they do every deadline.
Right.
Okay. So
yeah, and I also want to throw a quick congratulations shout out to Brad because breaking news: the Niners just completed the trade for Bryce Huff.
Yeah, okay. I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with the month of June, right? I don't know if you guys heard me talk about the schedule. I don't know if you all have the schedule pulled up. So, let me go back to the month of June here. So, obviously, they won their first game in June yesterday, right?
Right.
But now they have, they got a 3-game set against the Guardians. Then they're playing 6 games against the Red Sox this month. Then they have a 3-game set against the Royals in Kansas City.
Yep.
The Angels coming to town on a 4-game set. After that, it's the Orioles on a 3-game set and then they travel to Cincinnati to play against the Reds in a 3-game set. And then they play against the Athletics before
coming to Yankee Stadium. Yep.
At Yankee Stadium before they travel to Toronto on the last day, and it'll be a 4-game set that bleeds into July 3rd. Right now, the Yankees 17-9 in the month of April, in May. April they had a 15-13 record. The month of June, they're already 1-0. They have 26 more games. Sunil, what do you think record-wise? What do you think, man?
I'll dissect it series by series and add up to my final Guardian series. They're going to take 2 out of 3 easily, minimum. That's my expectation. Same with the Red Sox. So right away, we're at 4-2, total 5-2 just through the first week of June.
Okay.
Kansas City, that's going to be another series win, just as we are going to go to Fenway. So that's again another 4-2. So we're sitting at 9-4. Angels, I'll be happy with 3 out of 4. I mean, we swept them at their place. I don't see a sweep happening again.
Okay.
So we're sitting at 12-5. Orioles, well, they're basically the American League East Colorado Rockies waiting to happen, even with a new manager. That one, I could see a sweep happening, 15-5. And then Cincinnati's always been a juggernaut as far as facing us goes. They've been tough on us. Yeah. 2 out of 3. Okay. So we're talking 17-6. Okay. A's they've got Mason Miller at the back of that thing, and they've got a relatively decent, semi-decent offense. 19-7 at the end of that. That's 2 out of 3 there. And then of course Toronto, well, if John Schneider can always, somehow figure out how to stop talking shit, then maybe Jays would be relevant.
Mhm.
But I think we could end up being 20-7 for the month of June.
20-7. Okay, that's a good record. That's a good record.
Yeah, so that basically is 2 straight, relatively decent months, 17-9 and then 20-7. So if we're 36-22 right now, 36-19, 55-29 at the end of the month. Total record. Yeah.
All right. Jonathan, let me get your thoughts. Like, what is your prediction for the month of June? They already have a 1-0 record.
I think they're gonna win 18 games.
18. So 18, and so you're going 18 and what was that?
18 and I think
18,
it's 18
and 9. 18 and 9.
9.
Okay. So 20-7 for Sunil, 18 and 9 for Jonathan.
Yeah, I think the Angels series is gonna, which one game. I will be at one game.
Cool.
I finally got ticket to a game.
Nice.
And but I think it's gonna be harder than the schedule looks. Even though we should win 20 games, optimistically, I'm gonna say 17 or 18.
So you're saying the LA series is a split?
I'm not. I'm just. I'm just saying. I'm not giving exact wins and losses. I'm just saying overall, I think it's 17 or 18.
But if you had to pick one number, and you had to make a choice,
18.
Okay, 18.
Can I throw in one quick question here? Do you see us losing a series along the way? And if so, which one?
If we lose this series, I'm guessing, and this is just my guess, we're going to lose the Guardians.
This first week?
That's my guess. I think they always have a problem with Ramirez, and if the Yankees are a little bit shaky, this season against the Cleveland Guardians could be lopsided.
Actually, I'm going to go on a whim here and say the Reds.
The Reds have played us difficult. That's a good point.
I'll say the Reds if the Yankees were to lose a series. Sean, your predictions for the month of June. Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm right in the 19 wins in the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Reds is going to be the most difficult because a couple years ago, the last time we were in that ballpark, we had a hard time in that ballpark. And then the other thing is it's Tito Francona. I've learned throughout all the years never underestimate Tito Francona.
That's one guy I really wanted.
I mean, the Guardians.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I was gonna say is because I think we're gonna be ready to play the Guardians. I mean, especially after the embarrassment with the LA, we got egg on our face against the Dodgers. So we're gonna be like the savages against the Guardians. And we. I mean, that's what our team has been playing lately. Our offense is like we get kicked once, we get punched in the mouth once, and then we just go on a tear, and then we get punched in the mouth again in another game, and then we just bounce back for a while. Because I mean, right before we won 7 straight series, we got punched in the gut in Tampa, and then we got punched in the mouth against one game in Colorado, and then so.
I mean, look, the fact of the matter is this. I mean, Yankees are going to win some games. They're going to lose some games. It's baseball. It's a sport, just like any other sport. And if you're looking at combat sports, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Well, better luck. And if you lose, better luck next time. So get it together. You could dwell on it for a little bit, but then you got to get over it and get after it on the next day or the next training session or whatever, or next, depending on the sport that you're watching. But yeah, look, man, I think honestly, I don't know about you guys. I'm liking this 2025 Yankees team. Even with, they're playing extremely well, especially with an incomplete roster still. And hopefully they get these reinforcements. What was that?
Oh, I was gonna say injury depleted. I mean, our rotation. Remember, we was all looking forward to a Cole, Fried, and Rodon.
Yeah.
Schmidt and Hill, but Hill and we lost so many, and then we had to start the season with Carrasco and Stroman in our rotation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, TC, as far as Yankees needed to work on driving in runs without hitting a home run, I mean, I feel like this season they've been doing a much better job with that.
Yeah,
I mean, they still have some problems with runners in scoring position. There's no doubt there, but I feel like even at that, they're doing a better job with runners in scoring position. I don't know about you guys. I feel like they've been doing good with sack flies lately. Like that was like a far gone conclusion last year. I feel like they're doing a better job of like sack flies. They're not like yesterday. I mean, Ben Rice was the only one that hit a home run. Everything else was every other run was scored on hits. Rice was the only home run, right? So they haven't been relying too much. I mean, they rely on the home run ball, but I don't think it's as bad as it was in 2024. Whereas I feel like they were relying on the home runs way more last year than they were this year.
Yeah, but NFE, to his point, I will just say this.
Oh, yeah.
In 2 words, Jazz Chisholm Jr. He's got to stop jacking. He's got to stop that uppercut swing.
He does.
Yeah.
Jazz is pulling the ball on all of his swings are pulling, and you cannot have success if you're trying to pull the ball on every single swing.
It's the same complaint I have. I mean, apart from the pulling the ball, it's the same complaint I have with DJ. Basically, you have to basically try to split the gaps or go opposite field, or at least do something to take advantage of your speed.
The Yankee
draw walks, maybe.
Chisholm doesn't know how to punch the ball the opposite direction. If he did that, he could be on. He could be on base more, and also he had trouble walking. He doesn't walk.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope when he comes back, hopefully his bat is improved. I mean, I know he's been doing all right down there in his rehab games, but let's just hope that he does come back better. I mean, that's all we can hope for. The team's been doing fine without him. But yeah, I mean, listen, the Yankees do leave runners stranded. There's no there, but I feel like, but even with runners in scoring position, I think they're doing a hell of a better job in 2025 than they did in 2024. And also they've cut down on the double plays. I don't think they're hitting double plays.
So who do you see being the casualty when they call Jazz up? And I'm hearing that it could be as early as this Guardian series. Who's the casualty?
I think Vivas.
Is it Vivas?
I think Vivas goes back down.
Vivas got option. So I think Vivas goes down.
Right.
But when Stanton comes back, that's when I think they'll actually release Mr. Reyes.
Please.
Yeah, Reyes days are numbered. I think the first guy to get off this team from a DFA will be Reyes.
Yeah.
I honestly think. Go ahead. Sean, go ahead. No, please.
What I would love to see more is let Volpe unleash the beast on the base paths. Like I want to see them get on more consistently, and I want to see him actually running, being that menace like he was his rookie year.
Yeah,
because when he got the pitcher distracted, when he's trying to face a batter, more chances he's going to leave a cookie down the middle of the plate.
Well, that's the one thing the Yankees have stopped doing in the last year and a half. They haven't let the fast guys Volpe, and Chisholm, especially those two, they haven't let them steal any bases. And I think that's a mistake. When you have speed on the bases, you should use the speed on the bases.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
So
I
on
think
that
to that
note,
point, I
so
think to
on that
that
note, hold
point
on.
though. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, let me. I'll let you finish your point. Let me just bring up Jason Custodio. I know he's waiting in the back.
Oh,
You
sure.
ready to go, bro? Go ahead and give me a thumbs
Sure.
up if you're ready to go, man. Awesome. I'll bring up Jason Custodio, my man. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man?
What up?
How's it going, fellas?
What up? But Sunil, yeah, finish what you need to say, and then I'm gonna ask questions here.
So I think a lot of the what Jonathan was alluding to in terms of not being able to steal bases, it's a valid point, not disagreeing. I just think that the situations under which they were addressing that were primarily like if Volpe, like he was at the beginning of the year last year, he was for some time in the leadoff spot, and they just don't want to take away RBI opportunities from Judge. So they're like, when Judge is there, he's going to drive you, and that was the assumption at least. So they're basically trying to reduce the risk on the base paths is the modus operandi they were playing with. They are not looking at that kind of a play this year. I mean, if you look at who's batting in front of Judge, it's basically Grisham, and maybe on the occasion when Goldschmidt is leading off, or maybe you've got Rice in front of him, or maybe Bellinger. Bellinger's probably your the third or fourth guy when Judge bats second. So regardless of who you have in front of Judge, I don't think that problem exists anymore. Because if you look at the order placement, Volpe, Wells, Chisholm, they're all somewhere between 5 and 8. You know, juxtapose them which spot you will. Volpe, I would like to see either Volpe or somebody else with speed be your second leadoff hitter, being in the 9 hole. That would be ideal, because when you have situations that often arise, if you look at the numbers, 9, 1, and 2 seem to be often orders that happen in the middle of the game, and that's the situation under which you can have this kind of base stealing flow. You'll have like 2 distractions on the base paths in front of Judge to basically do some damage. And basically, if you let those guys do their thing, and especially with the disengagement rule, you can create a lot of beneficial situations. And I'll just leave it at that.
Copy.
Pick it up.
Copy. Yeah, my man Custodio's in the building. What up, man?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
Good, bro.
Can I
I
say
want to get
something
your
quick?
thoughts real quick. Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Go ahead.
I don't like the Jazz to third base thing. I don't like it, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because we know he's a better second baseman, right? I mean, that's clear in my opinion. And I don't like it. The whole point of Plan B was to get better defensively, the best defensive team we could put out there, clean up the base running, and I think we've done both. I think moving him to third is kind of we're kind of backtracking on that a little bit, you know. But I get it though. I get it because it leaves more options to pick up a second baseman or third baseman. So I get that, but I think that we should be at least trying to leave him there. But in worst case scenario, if we can't get a third baseman and we have to get a second baseman, or if it's because of DJ, then we move Jazz to third. But I think that should be the second option, not the first.
Yeah, I like the idea of Jazz batting, or not batting, but playing third, or I'm sorry, playing second. I'm more for that than him playing third. I'm right there with you, man. But I mean, if it means he's going to play third, which it sounds like when he gets back, he's taking over third base. We know he could play it. I prefer him at second. I've always been an advocate of him playing second base, but we know he could play third. I'd rather see him play third than DJ. That's for freaking sure. But I'd rather him play second base, and Yankees go after a third baseman. But Jason, let me get your thoughts on the month of May, man, for the Yankees. I mean, they went 17-9. They had a very good May. I know that Dodgers series was a kick in the balls, but let me get your thoughts, man. On your thoughts on the month of May for the Yankees and your overall thoughts of this team.
I mean, I like the team a lot better than the team we had last year.
Mhm.
I think that man, we had a great May. Yeah, we got that one. I mean, the 2 games versus the Dodgers. It just showed me 2 things that, I mean, to me personally, I know a lot of people might not agree with this, but they're a better team. You know, they're a better team. But that doesn't take nothing away because we're still a good team, and I still think that we are the favorites to come out of the American League. You know, so and there's no guarantee that they're gonna come out of the National League. So I like my team. I think there's still room for improvement, and I'll keep it at that.
Agreed.
And Jason, you touched on 2 good points that I was thinking of too. So I want to throw this at you while I get it fresh on my mind.
Mhm.
You said you like the Yankees to be favored coming out of the AL East,
Mhm.
out of the AL, I should say, not just the East.
Yeah, the AL.
But if there were an ALCS between the Tigers and the Yankees and how many and why? That's my first question. Part 2, do you see an NL team, maybe the Mets, maybe somebody else, that can dethrone LA? And who would that be?
I'll start with the first part of the question. I think if we played the Tigers right now, if the ALCS started right now, we beat them in 6, and simply
Mhm.
because they, outside of Scooble, they really don't have starting pitching like that. You know,
Mhm.
that's why they're out there in the market. They looking to bring somebody in, and I think that we're just a more experienced team. I get
Mhm.
it. They were there last year and they had the whole Cinderella story and everything, and they're a much better team. But I think the Yankees still pull through. I think we have enough firepower to get us through that lineup. And even Scooble got touched up last year in the playoffs. I mean,
Mhm.
let's not forget that. I know.
Mhm.
So I got the Yankees over the Tigers, but still a 6-game series. That's a nail biter too. You know, because
Yeah.
they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah, and Tigers are another monkey on our back that we have to get off in the playoffs too. Because if you look at the most recent Tigers
Mhm.
Yankees history in the playoffs, it's relatively one sided. It's almost like the early 2000s, how we faced and had the difficulties against the LA Angels, and we've
Yeah.
solved that in 2009. So this was kind of the same narrative playing out. Now I'll leave you to the second part with the Dodgers. Who do you see dethroning them?
With the Dodgers,
Mhm.
I think, look, right now, because look, they have a gang of pitchers that are just
Mhm.
waiting to come in, you know, at any point. But right now, I think there's a couple of teams that could beat them. Right now,
Mhm.
I think the Mets could beat them. You know, I think the Padres could possibly beat them. You know, if they get hot at the right time. The Dodgers don't have pitching. I get it. We made a, what's his name, Gonsolin and Knack look like freaking Sandy Koufax and whoever else you want to put in there.
Oral Hershiser.
Yeah, you know, but they're very vulnerable right now.
Mhm.
In my opinion. Yeah, you know, they had literally just came off of like a
Mm.
terrible week or two, you know. So they're beatable in my
Correct.
Yeah.
opinion. So I
So
think even the Phillies could beat them.
So what you've
hold on a
touched
second.
on
Hold
Yeah.
on.
my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. So let me ask Jason. So let me ask you this because we were talking about deadline. And I'm not like trying to go into a deep dive, but what do you think the Yankees need? But what do you think they're going to do?
I mean, what are they gonna do? I'm
Yeah.
not sure, man. To be honest, like we could all throw our guesses out there. I know
Sure.
what I would like them to do, but
Okay.
I
What
think
would you
they
like them
get.
to do?
I would like
Start
them
with
to
that.
just get a third baseman. Anything that's an upgrade from Peraza or Vivas, to me, I'll take it as a win. I'd like to get another arm or two in the bullpen, like solid arms, and possibly even a starter. And I'm not saying we need like an ace or anything, but just another starter because I don't know. I like having more pitching,
Mm-hmm.
me personally, because I feel like I got it. Yarbrough has looked fantastic, but is that gonna last? We don't know. You know, Will Warren, we see what can happen to him when when it gets thick. Um, so that's what I would like.
So you would like for them to get a starter and a third baseman, basically,
And some bullpen.
and some bullpen. Okay.
Hmm.
But what do you think they're going to do? Like if we've seen the Yankees year in, year out at the deadline. What do you think they do?
Well, I'm almost certain that Cashman will get an arm. It might not be the arm we want, but he's gonna get one. He always does, As far as the infielder, it's hard to say because, and I'm also in the camp where I think that there's not a lot of good players out there. I don't know if you guys heard about Corbin Burns, right?
Yeah,
everything going on with him. So that kind of leaves me looking at the Diamondbacks like, hey, you guys are probably out of it now. You lost your only pitcher. I mean, well, except for what's his name, Zach Gallen, but are they gonna be sellers? I might be looking at them like, hey, what can we do? But I'm not sure, to be honest.
All right. I mean, that's fair. Like you never know what Cashman's going to do. So who knows what he's going to do. But the month of June, bro, what do you think? How are the Yankees going to do?
I think the Yankees are going to keep rocking and rolling. I mean, the same way we were doing it in the month of May without the hiccup. The Boston always plays us tough, but who knows what version of them we're going to get. Kansas City is always tough on us, even though we always come out on top with them. But they called up some kid, their top prospect. I forgot his name. So let's see what he can do. I think the Yankees will be well above 500 baseball in June.
For sure. Record-wise, what do you think? They're already 1-0 in June.
How many games are in the month of June? I got
27 total. They're already 1-0 now because of the game yesterday.
Yeah. 27. I'm gonna go. Record? Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna be a little optimistic. 20-7.
Okay.
Were you listening to my prediction, man? You and I are on the same wavelength.
20-7. We might lose one per series, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe one per series. A sweep in there.
All right. So. Real quick, I got my man Ace waiting in the back, so it's always great to have him. Oh, hold up. He just got up. Oh, he's ready to go. Okay. All right, you gave me a thumbs up. All right, let's welcome our boy Ace into the building. I see an empty chair. What's he up to?
Nice. See what this is? We don't need anybody else.
The Brave Ace World?
Captain America. We got Captain America, Aaron Judge. We don't need anything else because that's what we got right here.
Why is
Captain
blue?
America, Aaron Judge. The stealth shield from Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
The first scene where he had to go undercover. Had the stealth shield. You can't have the red, white, and blue, on there. So, you know what I mean? But what's up, guys? I see y'all having a party, man. So I had to jump on and say what's up. How's everybody doing?
I know. I had Jonathan, Sean, and Sunil, and then Custodio popped up. I'm like, definitely going to invite Custodio up. And I saw you pop. I'm like, Ace is in the wait. I got to invite Ace up too, man. But, just kind of going around the table here. But, Ace, let me get your thoughts on the month of June, man. The Yankees went, 17-9. What were your thoughts? Like, what stood out to you? What did you like about it?
Initially going in, looking ahead when the schedule first started, thought it was definitely a daunting task that we had, especially, with the teams that we had to face.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers, Padres, Mets, Mariners as well. And then the 2 West Coast trips that were sprinkling in there where I don't know what the hell the schedule makers were doing to us on there, having 2 West Coast trips in 1 month. All that added to what I thought was going to be a rough stretch, especially how it started where we had those 2 series losses to Baltimore and the Rays. Didn't look like things were going to be starting off too well, but the Yankees rebounded nicely. Looked pretty good. For those that say we can't beat West Coast teams, we look pretty damn good against teams with the over 500 record this year so far. And a great month of baseball for the New York Yankees. Like I said in the chat earlier, I give it about a solid A month, all things considered. The 2 West Coast trips, like I said, people don't understand. People don't understand how hard that is to having to travel all the way to the West Coast and play. Now, we saw them drop game 1 against the Rockies day after travel. That normally does happen. But the Yankees were able to rebound after rough losses. 7 straight series wins before facing the Dodgers team, the World Series matchup. Now we did drop it. But overall, like I said, I was very impressed with this month of baseball.
For sure. Yeah, I mean they played some really good baseball. I mean, with the exception of the Dodger series. I mean, that was pretty much just a kick in the balls, but overall they played really good baseball. And like I was saying, I think guys like Bellinger, he really stood out to me. His batting average right now at 253, like below in the beginning of the month it was below 200. So and the guy and Yarbrough, man, Yarbrough he's been doing extremely well, right? I mean, he shut down the Dodgers yesterday. Their top bats had no answer. You know what I mean? So he did extremely well. Was there anybody like that stood out to you in the month of May that you were very happy with? You were impressed with?
Carlos Rodon, been very impressed with him in the month of May as well. Said Rodon, Volpe played well this month as well. But overall, this Yankee team, man, as long as Devin Williams as well. He goes without saying. Devin Williams, 10 of the last, I believe it's 10 of the last 12, or actually since yesterday, might be 11 of the last 13 without giving up a run. He's really turned it around this month after a very slow April. You know what I'm saying? Where people are ready to throw him to the moon, shoot him to the moon and back.
Right.
He turned it around really well this month. But, the team just seemed to be clicking, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's just a little bit of a speed bump that we faced with the Dodgers. Glad we were able to get that series. But, looking at the entire schedule, we definitely did things that I didn't think we were going to sweep the Rangers. I definitely thought we were going to take 2 out of 3 against them. Would have kind of liked to sweep the Rockies. But I kind of take that as, Rockies took 1, but we ended up sweeping Anaheim. Los Angeles. So I kind of just saying, like, what, if we swept, think about it like we swept the Rockies and lost 1 to the Angels at the end of the day. Because I thought we were definitely going to take 2 out of 3 from them and ended up sweeping them. So a lot of surprises this month by the Yankees.
Yeah, for sure, man. I don't know if you looked at the schedule for the month of June, and I'll ask you about the schedule, and I'll ask you a deadline question too, because I know you did your show with Jason from 161. But as far as the 2 Jasons, yeah, Custodio and the other Jason from 161. Shout out to 161. But record wise for the Yankees, I mean, they already started off 1-0. There's 27 total 26 more games now to be played. Like, what do you think their record will be in June?
How many total did you say in June?
So 20. So they already played 1 yesterday. So now there's 26 more. So 27 remaining. Total.
At the end of the day, I want to take 2 out of 3 every series. Ultimately, that's what you ultimately want to gain. What you ultimately want to aim for. The Guardians are a team that we're going to face in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. Like at some point in time, could be another playoff matchup. They're kind of middle of the pack. The Red Sox. We play them twice in 2 weeks. They like to get up to to face the New York Yankees. One of those is on Sunday Night Baseball as well. The Royals are kind of competing, and while also they just called up one of those young kids. It's supposed to be really good. We'll see how that goes. And we're going against the Angels again for a 4-game set, this time in New York. Then we're going against Baltimore, who also likes to play us tough, and they did take the last series. It's going to be interesting. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'd like to see about 18 to 19 wins this month. That's ultimately what I'd like to see.
So you're probably thinking 18-9 or 19 and 8
around that mark.
Around that mark.
19-8.
Not what I said.
And if you had to pick a number, like one number for the winning,
let's go 19. Let's go 19.
Want to go 19?
19 sounds good. Let's go 19.
All right, 19. Custodio is the only one I think that said 20-7, man.
I did too.
Oh yeah, Sunil as well. That's right. But,
I said 19.
For sure. And as far as I'm not gonna, I wasn't going in like a deep dive into the deadline, but let's get your thoughts again on the deadline. Like, what do you think the Yankees need, but what do you think they're gonna do? Because folks have their wish lists, but then the Yankees do something that we don't expect them to do. But what would you want them to do? What would you like for them to do? But what do you expect them to do? What do you think they'll do?
Need an infielder. DJ LeMay had a good game the other day, but to me, that's fool's gold. We all know that's not going to last.
Sure.
We need arms out of the pen. This weekend kind of put things in perspective for me. We have a lot of situational arms in the bullpen, like the Tim Hills, the Ian Hamiltons, stuff like that. We don't have enough guys that can just go out there and just shove, that can just get guys out. Luke Weaver's one of those. Devin Williams is one of those. Mark Leiter Jr. has been one of those. His stats are pretty even on both sides. Cruz is coming back. Cruz has been one of those guys. But we need to bolster up the bullpen. We really do. Jake Cousins should be coming back. That should help also, obviously, Fernando Cruz come back as well. There are a couple of guys I would like to attack in the trade deadline. I'd like to go out there and go get Jake Bird from Colorado. That'd be good, leading the league in strikeouts. Because you got to get those guys, like too many times, like we saw in this series, situational use of the bullpen. Tim Hill's out there. Loiza's coming in a certain situation. Ian Hamilton's coming out there in a certain situation. Boone pulls it. At one point in time in one of these innings, Boone went to two different relievers in one inning because we don't have enough middle of the relief guys that can get out guys on both sides of the plate, so you have to be more situational. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't trust Tim Hill for that. Jonathan Wise is getting hit by lefties, you know what I'm saying, to the point where they 4-pitch walked somebody the other day with him up there. We need guys that can go out there and produce and get guys out on both sides of the plate, whether it's Jake Bird, Bautista is a name that's being thrown out there as well. We need guys that can just flat out throw. But obviously infield is one of the biggest things. Jazz coming back, we've all heard the rumors of Jazz might be going back to third. Great. Are the Yankees going to attack the second base market, or are they going to leave that shit open for DJ LeMahieu? If we leave it open for DJ LeMahieu, I'm going to have a problem. Now, if you go out there and get an Ahmed Rosario, stick him out there, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be very aggressive. This last series versus the Dodgers should have been an eye-opening experience for the Yankees. That said, you know what? We got beat bad on Saturday. Friday, we should have had that game. We kind of, let it go by the wayside. We blew it. And then we looked pretty damn good on Sunday. But this was a measuring stick week, and it should go to show you that the Yankees need to add more. They can't be complacent and say, you know what, we're good with this. We're going to be getting – we know how this Yankee team operates, though. We're getting Giancarlo Stanton back. That's a guy. We're getting Jazz back. That's a guy. Luis Hill. That's a guy. You can't be stagnant. You have to attack heavily. Do it now. Preferably, I would like for them to do it like we did with Jazz Chisholm a couple of weeks before the deadline, so these guys' prices aren't skyrocketed, and you have to compete with the rest of the league.
Yeah. So, but what do you think they're going to do? Like, I know you have your wish list. What do you think they'll do in reality?
Who specifically? I don't know, because
not necessarily names, but just
we'll go
position.
bullpen and they'll pick up another infielder. Bullpen and they'll pick up another infielder.
Okay.
You have to. You can't continue to go out there with the same stuff. What I fear is that they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? We'll move Jazz to third and just have DJ LeMahieu play every day. It's Aaron Boone's dream scenario of DJ LeMahieu. Like I said in yesterday's ball game, every hit DJ LeMahieu gets, Aaron Boone is like that dude standing behind the tree in the yellow shirt, going like this, licking his lips, like, oh, that's the DJ I know. That's the guy that we all know and love. Give him some more batting. Give him some more at-bats. That's what it feels like. So I hope that's not the case, but you need to add. And also, we need depth for the bench as well. Like, granted, you get guys like Giancarlo Stanton back, that will add depth to the bench because Ben Rice most likely is going to be a bench piece.
No doubt.
I don't agree with that either.
Wait, what?
We're having Ben Rice on the bench. I think they have to find a way to get him in the lineup, man.
Where?
If he got a catch, look, you got to catch. If he got to be the catcher, then he has to be the catcher because, he is hitting the ball like with the best of them. He could be an all-star. Literally, you have an all-star on the bench. That's just crazy.
Yeah, the exit velo on his hits off that bat, man, is pretty legit.
Keep in mind too, bench piece doesn't necessarily mean he's sitting on the bench. He's a piece that can rotate. He can play catcher. He can play first. He could DH. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be that rotation. He'll be that rotational piece. But Boone's got to get him playing time.
I think he has to be in the lineup every day. At this point,
Custodio, what do you think about Ben Rice playing third base potentially?
No,
I mean that is the last case scenario.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for how long?
Ben Rice is either going to be in first base or he's going to be at catcher.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Or platoon
that
DH.
guy playing third base. I'm sorry. I'm just not for that idea. If it happens, okay, but I'm not for it.
If it happens, it will only happen like at an emergency situation for one game, similar to what they did with Don Mattingly.
What do you think?
I just have one thing to say to Ace when he was making a statement about DJ LeMahieu and Aaron Boone's perspective on it. Isn't this the same Aaron Boone at the end of 22 who basically said, for Josh Donaldson that you would have to be crazy for him not to be comeback player of the year? Are we really going down that can of worms?
Too old.
Oh, we're digging to the past again.
Ooh.
I mean, but that's no. Well, it's not necessarily digging the past. You got to realize.
I gotta say what's up to our boy Mazza from Ford Train Express. Good to see you, bro. It's been a long time.
Been a long time, Mazza.
Yeah. Hopefully you're doing
Salute,
well, man.
Mazza.
I know you're out there doing your thing in the military. So he's a member of the military, member of the Navy. So thank you there, Mazza. But hopefully you're doing well, bro. Good to see you in the chat, man. I know we kind of chatted up outside of YouTube, but hopefully you're all good, bro. Hopefully everything is well.
But I mean, isn't it kind of we're not kind of definitely. We're not kind of dwelling in the past. Isn't it kind of Aaron Boone's MO to kind of like have faith in these veterans that he loves so much, like the Donaldsons, the Aaron Hickses, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, the washed up veterans where we all see that they're done. But Boone's a player's coach. You know what I'm saying? He's going to give these guys every opportunity. He looks at DJ LeMahieu every day. You know what I'm saying? He sees him more than we do and says, yo, this guy still got stuff in the tank. We go out there and he gives us one good game out of every once every week and a half. You know what I'm saying? It's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? It's really not good.
Once every fortnight.
Play. Yeah, something like that. That's at least what it feels like. But ultimately, like, you can't settle. Now's the time that you gotta be aggressive. DJ LeMahieu isn't a piece that should be starting every day. If DJ LeMahieu's taking regular at bats, they failed at the deadline, in my opinion.
And that was my point. Is really not to go on the past. It was really to talk more about Aaron Boone's modus operandi at times and how it needs to improve. Marginally, in situations like this, more than diving on the past, it was really more of an Aaron Boone discussion to say, what can he do better in situations like this?
Let me ask you something. On the Aaron Boone topic, do you guys trust Aaron Boone?
I'm an 8 out of 10 on that.
If Aaron Boone
and what do you grade Boone? And what do you grade Boone in the first thing too? Do you trust him, and what do you give his grade?
So far this season,
if Aaron Boone is being himself and not listening to a computer or analytics, I think he does much better than if he does everything how analytics says to do. I think you have some parts of baseball cannot be done through a computer. Sometimes you have to use your eyes and just go with your gut.
But analytics are going to be part of the game.
They're going to be part of the game, but at some time they don't work out, and you have to make your own choices during the moment. Not everything can be done with a computer.
My score, and believe me, I'm the biggest Boone critic, man. I'm one of the biggest out there. I think he's done a pretty good job with the there's a few stuff that's questionable to me, but so far I'm giving him a B+. I'll give him a B+.
I'm with that, Custodio, because look, if Boone, I mean, how much do we trust Boone? If Boone wasn't trustworthy, I mean, look at what he's doing right now with a team full of injuries. This team is still incomplete, and I don't think any of us were expecting them to have this kind of record right now. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Did we expect the Yankees to have this kind of record right now on June 2nd?
Can I say one more thing too? I like, as far as do I trust him? I trust that he's learned from his mistakes.
Well, and then here's the other thing.
I trust that.
Oh yeah. Elaborate on that. Keep going with that, Jason.
No, I trust that he's learned, because you can see, like, he might do something dumb and then he'll try to correct. Maybe it's a day late and $1 short, right? But I see that he realizes that he might not admit it, but he realizes that there's a flaw, and that he may have messed up. And I bet like even the game one thing, the next score says, I bet if he could take it back, he'd take it back. You saw the next game he brought out Tim Hill.
But again, so my question though, did we expect the Yankees to have the kind of record that they have right now, June 2nd? I don't think a lot of people did.
No.
Nope.
I expected this with Cole. Yes. I didn't expect this without Cole. I expected a competitive ever since the injury, I expected to have a very competitive season, more like maybe a second place season. I did not expect to be up by 7 games in the East.
Yeah. What about
we're actually up 5.5 in the AL East.
5.5.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we're not playing today, and the let me see the score of the.
We're 5.5 as of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this.
I'll get to Sean too after this. I want Sean to get a chance.
I think I expected this type of season. First place in the East. First place in our division, because we are the best team in our division. It's not by accident. Even with the injuries, without the injuries, we're definitely one of the best teams in the league. We play in a weaker AL as well. Now, I definitely thought the month of June would have been difficult, but especially with how we play, you know what I'm saying, where we kind of play down to the competition, but the Yankees also rise up in certain times as well. You know what I'm saying? So this team does definitely have fortitude, and you know what I'm saying, we had some big series this month. We really did, and the Yankees got tested. You know what I'm saying? They say the NL is tough. We lost to the Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams lost to the Dodgers. We beat the Mets, who are one of the best teams in the league. We beat the Mariners, who always give us problems. You know what I'm saying? The Rangers, world champion a couple years ago. The Padres, one of the good teams as well. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely expected this team to be one of the best teams in the AL, because I had that from the beginning, because we know the AL is the weaker conference. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Hey, there's one question I have for you. Who do you think is the biggest challenge for the Yankees in the AL East for the division AL East crown?
That's easy. Us. We're our own challenge when it comes to that in the AL East. No, that's what it comes down to, because realistically, look at the AL East. The Orioles aren't what they thought they would be.
I'm asking for a different team, not us. Yes, if we collapse tomorrow, if everybody on the team gets injured, of course they're going to lose 14 games in a row and we'll be with the Orioles by the end of the month. I'm saying really. Out of all the other teams, who do you think could surpass the Yankees at the end of the year?
Nobody. I'm telling you, nobody. I think we are our biggest threat in the AL East.
I'm with Ace on this. Yes.
Dude, we're the best team. Look, the Red Sox will play us tough. Don't get it twisted. That's what they do. They're going to do that. Everybody in the AL East will play us tough. But ultimately, Baltimore is not. Baltimore has flamed out and they look really bad after losing 2 guys. The Red Sox are dealing with a lot of injuries. The Red Sox were supposed to be a very feisty team, but now they're heading in the wrong direction. They're dealing with a lot of stuff. Tampa and Toronto don't scare me either. They're 2 teams that are kind of just there. Will they beat us? Yes, they'll beat us. But ultimately, I'm going to tell you this. I don't think the league gets less than 3 games in the AL East. From this point on, I don't think we dip less than 3.
Then I'll rephrase
Hold on, John. I want to get Sean's thoughts. So he's been awfully quiet, man. So Sean, go ahead, man.
I don't know. We was all talking. Early on to Ace's question about Boone. Do I trust Boone? He has improved over the years. He has one of the best winning percentage as far as Yankee managers. But the problem is that I have with him is sometimes he does get over reliant on the analytics and what the front office will try to tell him to do about different players. But at the same time, you can't fault him for players not executing. When he puts people in and then they don't do it, or he puts he starts players and they don't, whatever. But at the same time, there are decisions that he makes, and I can criticize him like everybody else does. Like Nestor versus Tim Hill in the World Series, that decision. But at the same time, though, he's done remarkably well, given his underperforming to what we signed them to.
Hey, Sean, real quick, you are cutting. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
You're kind of cutting in and out. Are you guys
in the gulag, man?
You're kind of cutting in and out. I don't know if there's a connection problem, but
I don't know what's going on, but let me try to refresh. Hear me now?
Raziel, shout out to Raziel for the $1.99 super chat. You are the man. I got to play this every time. much, bro.
Ow.
Greatly appreciate it.
That was loud, so.
I'm joking.
But yeah, thank you so much for the 199 super chat. But go ahead, Sean. Can you hear me?
Oh, hold on. I'm going to try to refresh. Hey, give me a second.
Good. While you're doing that, so look, I as far as my thoughts on Aaron Boone, look, I like Aaron Boone. I don't always agree with his decisions. Sometimes his decisions I do question. But here's where I give him credit. The guy has never really, he's never really had like a superstar caliber team. Not really. But whatever team was given to him, he made the best of it. And somehow, some way, he always got this team into the postseason with the exception of 2023. 2023 was bad. But let me add Sean back real quick. But somehow, some way, he always made it happen. Yes, his playoff resume is not the greatest. He got the team to the World Series. Yes, he there was some mistakes that he made in the World Series. But, ultimately when, again, I don't like going back to the past, but since we're kind of talking about it, 2025, it's like, or 2024, they lost that World Series. That was, it was bad the way they lost it. But I don't know how much you could put that on Boone when it was the players that made the defensive mistakes. I mean, they beat themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. It's like those were plays that, we talk about how they, defensively that they should be making some of those plays. Now, some of Boone's decision making, yeah, I do. I don't always agree with them. Sometimes I do question. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, why did you do that? But I think for the most part, though, I mean, for his time managing this team, he's done well in the regular season. Postseason, yeah, not the greatest, although last year was his best. Let's see what he can do in 2025. I think he's doing a good job so far with this team. And this team is a lot better than where they were defensively, especially defensively in 2025. They're making much better plays. What up, Jason? Shout out to my man Jason from 161. Yo, what up, man? What's going on?
So
bro?
NFB, I'll just put one perspective on where we stand in reality right now, record-wise: 36 and 22 without Cole. Right?
Sure.
So basically, this is not a calculation of what Cole's WAR really is, but if you look at just the single season perspective for 2025, if we add in the scenario where Cole is not out for the year for Tommy John, that I could easily see being 6, possibly 7 more wins. We could be looking at a 42-16 or a 43-15 record with this team having Cole added to this rotation. Now let's talk about adding Luis Hill. How much that could have helped or whatnot. Maybe do you want to throw in another, I don't know, 3-4 wins there?
Yes.
And say we could be close to 50.
But the thing is, though, nobody was. A lot of folks were not expecting the Yankees to be in this position. Like everybody.
Me neither. I agree with you.
Third or fourth place team, and I'm like, man, you guys have like zero hope. And this was like before the season even started. Which I mean, I get it, but they're playing good so far.
Here's another question though: if Cole didn't get hurt, do you think they signed Max Fried?
They signed him before Cole was hurt.
Yeah, they signed him before Cole got hurt.
Yes.
I think they knew Cole
those
was
two are
more hurt than
irrelevant.
what they let on.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So
with
Cole, assuming Cole never got hurt, how
Right.
many wins do you think they have right now?
42, 43 maybe?
43?
What does Jason
44?
and Sean think with Cole if Cole was on the team?
I say 44 wins.
Okay.
Give or take. Because I mean, you got a 3-headed top line rotation, and then let's say Hill was healthy. That's a 4-man rotation right there. And then you got Schmidt as your 5 guy. But yeah, I mean, I would take Cole Rodon and Freed, and then Hill any day of the week, because you're going to get linked out of 3 of those guys consistently. And then Hill's going to give you a lot of. He's a high arm, so he's electric arm. So yeah, he's going to give you strength.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to speculate on stuff like that, to be honest, because who knows, right? Because if Cole was healthy, right, then we probably wouldn't get Will Warren, maybe, if Cole and Hill were healthy, or the stuff we get from Yarbrough. If Stanton was healthy, we might not see what Ben Rice could be, So stuff like that, I try not to speculate, man, because the comparison is the killer of all joy, right? That's how I feel. Like then I feel like, oh man, like we suck, even though we don't.
Can I ask a more positive question than Cole?
Yeah, one more, and then I'm gonna ask a question because we're gonna close it out because I've been on for over 2 hours.
Yeah,
so yeah, go ahead.
When do you
I want to add on to that Cole thing before we move on from that topic.
You're good, Ace. I'll let.
When
do you want to right now?
To return? I think Hill's come back Hill should be back this month from what they're saying, right?
I mean, he pitched off the mound on Friday, so
yeah,
he's gonna have some rehab games. So
yeah, he should be doing it
beginning of July.
Yeah, he'll be
late
back,
June, early July,
summertime. Yeah, that's what you can aim when it comes to that. But when it comes to to backtrack to the Cole question, it's very circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? I'm with Jason with this one. I don't like dealing with the hypotheticals because think about it like this, right? If Garrett Cole was healthy, he's number 1. Freed is 2. We don't know if we're gonna get the same Rodon with different matchups. So it's all circumstantial at the end of the day. Rodon's going against different players on different days. How many times was Rodon and how many? Look, if you put Cole in the Rodon spot, how many times was Cole pitching in the rain? Because it seems like Rodon's been pitching in bad weather this entire year. You know what I'm saying? So it's all circumstantial when it comes to that. Will we have more wins? Possibly. But at the end of the day, this Yankee team is still performed to what NFE was saying. A lot of the media definitely had the Yankees as a 4th place team. I just think that's Yankees for clicks. I really do, because there's no way you look at this roster with a guy like Aaron Judge and think to yourself, that's a 4th place team with the moves that they made with a great plan B. If anything, we should have way more wins than what we've had, because how many games have we let slip by off of the bats getting started slow, off of a travel day? Not just the Devin Williams stuff. I'm not just talking about the Devin Williams games. I'm talking about games off of the bats. How many? Look, losing to the Dodgers was only our 2nd blowout this year. Every other game, the Yankees are in that. A hit here, a non-mistake here, or a rally here, something like that can definitely be the difference in sweeping the team or not. I've said it a lot this year. I'm tired of saying the Yankees should have swept this team because so many times we're coming out 2 or 3, and the game that we lost was close, and we could have got a W. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely we could easily be close to over 40 wins now, easily, even with the Devin Williams stuff.
100%. So let me ask this question. We'll go around the table here, and we'll close it out. So it'll be kind of a 2-part question. So what would you like to see the Yankees improve this month? And who's the one player that you want to see step up? So I'll ask that question to all of you. So Jonathan, I'll start with you, and then we'll go around the table.
Improve? Oh, I would like to see more, a little more timely hitting in runners in scoring position. I would like to see that improve a bit more, along with late inning relief. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit better in late inning relief, depending on, of course, Weaver's situation. I think if he's missing any significant time, that will be a big blow to the bullpen. Okay. And the other question:
who's the player you want to see step up?
The player, I would really like to see Peraza improve. If Peraza improves, I think the offense will do much better.
Okay. All right. Custodio. What about you, man?
I mean, this is easy for me, man. I want Wells to improve. I
Okay.
need Wells to improve. I expect more from him. Yeah, he's batting low 200s. I just expect more from him. He's our starting catcher. I expect more. And then as far as stepping up, I want Devin Williams to step up. Now that Weavers is on the IR, I don't know if did they put him on like a 10-day or anything yet?
Not yet.
They haven't made an announcement yet, man.
They haven't said anything.
Yeah, so I'd like him. This is the time now to step up. This is his chance to really. I'm not saying get back in the closer role, but gain some trust. Get in the circle of trust again. So I need him to step up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you like to see improved by the Yankees, like overall? Like what?
Overall, I think the bottom of the lineup. I need more production, specifically in close situations. It seems like late in the game, the approach changes. They're swinging at pitches down there. And I get it that most of them are younger guys down there, with the exception of DJ, depending on what night, how the lineup is. But I need them to stop helping the pitcher, please. Why are we swinging at ball 4? That drives me crazy. I have no idea. Yeah.
For real. All right. Sean, same question to you, man.
Yeah, I think what I like to see more improvement from would be I would like to see more improvement from the Peraza and Volpe, those two, just to be more consistent. And I have two players that I want to see step up, and Wells is one of them because we need more from our starting catcher offensively, consistently. And be more like he was the AL Rookie of the Year runner-up last year. Be more of that guy than just lost in the sauce. But then the other guy is Devin Williams. We traded him. We traded for him to be our closer, and he come to a hype because he's been proven in Milwaukee, but he hasn't been the guy we traded for. But he showed the flashes of it. But we need him to step up. The only way he's going to get the fans to start cheering for him is for him to perform, and step up, and be the guy we wanted. And then to be more improvement for the overall with the Yankees, I want to see more more hit and run, more being a menace on the base pass with these guys that we got are fast. The young guys, let them run, let them do things, but be fundamental, aggressive, but be smart.
Okay, cool. What about you, Ace?
As far as things to improve on, situational at bats. I'm not even gonna say situational hitting because like situational at bats, you just have to know. It matters with the counts. It matters with productive outs. You know what I'm saying? It matters with runners in scoring position. Too many times we see this team, it does feel like they're coming out swinging for the fences. You know what I'm saying? Too many times, I say it all the time. If a pitcher, don't help the pitcher out. If a pitcher walks somebody, take a couple of balls. It's as simple as that. Like, don't come out there swinging at the first pitch, popping up, and you making the pitcher's job a lot easier. You have to be more situationally, sound. Also, one thing that's great, this year has been, fundamentally, I want to see them keep that up, continue that, because the Yankees have been a very good fundamental team. So, it's not something that needs to be improved on, but I want them to keep it up because defensively, we've been good this year. You know what I'm saying? Do we make an occasional error? Sure, everybody does. But fundamentally, this team feels a hell of a lot different than last year. As far as guys need to be stepped up, you guys have all said Austin Wells. I'm going to go out there and say Jazz Chisholm needs to step up. Jazz Chisholm's coming back. You know what I'm saying? Jazz is a guy that struggled initially, then got hurt. Maybe this layover and all the stuff that he's been doing, with these charities, stuff like that, maybe it cleared his mind to be just sometimes just to be able to take a step back from things does allow you the ability to reset. Imagine what Jazz can do with what we imagine we get the Jazz that we saw last year when we traded for Jazz coming out immediately in the middle of this lineup. It just makes the rest of the lineup longer. Like Jason was saying, bottom of the order has been a problem, but when you add a guy like Stanton and Jazz, it lowers the guys and does add length throughout this entire lineup. So that's what we're gonna need to see. So I need Jazz to step up when he gets back.
No doubt. No doubt. What about you, Sunil?
What he said basically about Jazz Chisholm Jr. was pretty much spot on. Everything I was going to say too, to add on to what everybody's been saying related to Peraza, to Wells, Williams for sure, because trading for a closer and then not putting up closer like numbers, it's disappointing, especially in the aftermath of Weaver's mild hamstring discomfort is what they're calling it for now until they actually announce an IL stint for him. One concern right now that I could say for the short term that needs immediate improvement is who's going to close games. Is Williams going to get the circle of trust, or do we go to soon to return Fernando Cruz, or do we try to give that to a Mark Leiter Jr., or is that basically Johnny Loizaga, even though he's had his troubles against left-handed hitting? So we've got a little bit of a problem on the horizon potentially if that situation doesn't ease itself in short order.
Okay. No, I like the no, I like that. Everybody's got good thoughts on this, so I do appreciate that. For me, I mean, stop swinging that damn first pitch. I mean, Ace brought it up. That was really on my mind. You know what I mean? Like make the pitcher work, and then Wells, that's my guy. Like to step up and improve. I've been you probably all pay attention, but I've been a little critical of Volpe, but he's been better than Wells, if anything. But Wells is the guy I'm looking at now. Like Wells is the guy that absolutely needs to step up, and we'll see if he does. I liked what he did. Kudos to him for throwing out, who was that, Pajes at third base yesterday. That was awesome.
That was a good tag by Peraza too, though.
That was a great tag by Peraza. Yeah, that was a fantastic tag by Peraza. But Wells is the guy that I want brought up or to improve for sure, because he certainly needs to step up. Like Custodio said, he's our starting catcher. So, or else they should let JC Escara play and let him start being the catcher. So,
let me ask you one thing: would it benefit the team? I mean, Wells has been a catcher by trade throughout, just as Escara and Rice have. Now, would it help him to basically get off his knees more and perhaps kind of switch around the substitutions with Ben Rice and let Ben Rice and Escara share the catching and let Wells back up first base at, whenever we got righties and Goldschmidt's either DHing or on the bench?
And Ace was about to laugh. I think I know what he was going to laugh at too. Couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I was just going to keep rolling. I mean, I was
I was just going to. No, it's not. Don't worry about it, Sunil. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand the whole thing with him. There you go. I'm on his knees, right? Ayo. I don't get it, but I'm not sure if that's a Wells thing or if that's if that's a coaching decision. Would it improve? I don't know if it improve. I'm more concerned about his bat. His framing is good. I have no problems with his framing. His throws, I mean, sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. It's like you don't know what you're going to get with his.
The other day, Vivas had to rescue him from having a throw go into center field.
Well, my point. So sometimes his throws are good, sometimes they're bad.
Another thing with the Yankees, they have a very deep in catching. They have a deep system for catchers. So it's possible that someone else might emerge and be the next catcher if Wells cannot be the full-time catcher.
Yeah, it's possible. Sure. I'm gonna dig into the I was a catcher. No pun intended with the Austin Wells. It's not as as far as you being on your knees and stuff like that. Like you got to realize these guys don't wear what they call knee savers You know what I'm saying? Which was the pad that used to be, after that. So it's, it's grueling to get up every time. But it's, as far as the base stealing, it's not just on Austin Wells. It's also on the pitcher's delivery. It's also on the pitcher being able to hold the runner back. If he gets a good jump, a lot of times with Austin Wells, like you were saying, Vivas had the safety the other day. A lot of times Austin Wells doesn't even have a chance back there. You know what I'm saying? And it's about footwork and stuff like that. And, if a guy just gets a great jump off a pitcher and he's already halfway to the base, sometimes it's just easier to just eat it. Or sometimes we see the throws that are in the ground because he's not trying to overthrow it and make it an error, but he's still trying to give him a chance. But we've seen good moments of Austin Wells behind the plate. But offensively, he does need to step up. I do like JC Escar's plate discipline more than Austin Wells is right now. But I think Austin Wells provides more of that pop and power. So if you can combine these two, we'd have a hell of a catcher. But unfortunately, you can't. Like you can't platoon them either because Austin Wells needs the everyday reps. We saw last year he's a notoriously slow starter. But the difference between last year was we were starting to see him early. He was hitting the ball hard, but at people. He's starting to hit the ball harder, and it's starting to produce a little bit more. So I'm interested to see how he does this month.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
somebody gonna say something? Oh, Sean, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then but let's congratulate Ace. Man, he just reached over 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So shout out to you, man. You be killing it on those play-by-plays. But also the thing with Wells, and we're the Yankees. We got spoiled by so many great catchers in our history, in our franchise. So, pinstripes are heavy too, but yeah, my thing is, we were spoiled by Posada and by Girardi in the 90s and 2000s. So, well, Wells, yeah, he became, and then seen it. What is it with Rodon? And and Wells had the heads up play. And we got him picked off. So, yeah.
He's been good with that this year.
So, Wells does have his moments where he does. Yeah.
Cool. All right, there, fellas.
Because I noticed when, besides Freed.
For sure. But I am going to close it out, though. We're about almost 2.5 hours in. Yeah. So appreciate you gentlemen jumping on. Jonathan, Sean, Sunil, thanks for jumping on, guys. And I put the link out for the Ace Avenue and Jason Custodio. So make sure you all go subscribe to their channels. They do extremely good work. And, just go tune in. I know Jason likes to go on late at night. So if you're a night owl, go tune into Jason, man. It's a fun time. It's always a fun time.
If you have time for another open panel, you should try to do one after the trade deadline.
Well, like I said, open panels, I don't announce when, where, and how. Just tune in, and if I do one, hopefully you're there. So it's a surprise.
That's my best.
That's how I do the open panels. But
make sure you subscribe to my guy NFE, man, on the road to 2K. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for having us all on. Jason, like I said, does a great job as well when he's not cheating me out of the trivia that I should have won yesterday. You know what I mean, Jason?
So I'm not the only one who's rigging. Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean you're wrong.
No, I was right. It's a timely thing. If I would have got my answers, I'm not gonna lie.
I was disappointed in the viewers. I'm disappointed. One of the questions was, who was the starting shortstop for
No, I
got who's the starting shortstop in 1995 season, and like 90% of the people picked Derek Jeter. I was like,
"What? Oh my god!"
You know who I'm
giving it to you. I'm giving it to you.
Who I'm disappointed in is Ken. Ken got all those joints wrong yesterday.
No, he couldn't see it though. He didn't have his glasses.
That's an excuse. That's an excuse.
Yeah, but no, I do. But once again, I do appreciate you guys jumping on, and make sure you guys subscribe to the Ace Avenue. Make sure you guys subscribe to Jason Custodio. I'll put their links out. So let's, Ace hit 2K. That's a big freaking deal. Thank you all for making that happen for him. I'm happy for him. And this channel is on the road to 2K. So slowly but surely we'll get there. But I would appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. But thank you all for coming on. I'm going to drop you guys down, and we'll do this again next time, hopefully, whenever that may be. Like I said, it's always going to be a surprise, so you never know when I'm going to do it. So make sure you all tune in. But let me drop you gentlemen down, and I'm going to close it out. So thank you guys again. So I'll drop you guys down one by one. Thank you all so much. I'll see you all next time. And then I will close it out. But folks, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you gentlemen jumping on. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you all very, very much. Make sure you all hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And keep sharing this channel out. Spread the word. And we'll continue growing this channel. And thank you all again. And I will see you all tomorrow, actually, for the pregame and a play-by-play. So make sure you all tune in. Thank you all again, and have a great night. And as always, let's go Yankees.